What's up, Chosen? As I come at y'all with a brand new video, y'all, in this scenery. You know what I'm saying, y'all? By the sun, you know what I'm saying, y'all? Peace to all my, like I say, people tuning in today, y'all. Watching what, I got to spill, y'all. So I would like for everybody who just, tapped into the channel, y'all, who are newcomers, what I talk about in this channel, y'all, is about deep truths of the world that, necessarily is thrown, if you want to say from the surface, y'all, because this shit is not told to the norm. Everybody was taught to be something, or everybody was taught what to be, right? But they were not taught how to be that. They were just taught what to do, but they weren't shown true direction, y'all. So in this video, I'm gonna necessarily talk about direction. You need direction, family. So, most people talk about, relationship, loved ones, or just people walking away from you. And we will get on those topics later. But for now, y'all, let's talk about your direction. Especially developing that kind of characteristics early on in your life. Let's just say you're someone that's young right now, y'all. My channel is not necessarily for the old heads, but I don't degrade the old heads because remember, y'all, we won't even be here without them. They have held this generation down for so long, and even though it's not what it's supposed to be, we are rising every day, y'all. So, like I say, just keep working on yourself, and everything will be shown to you in timing, But remember this, family, you may not have direction in your life, y'all, because you are focusing on what you're trying to be too much, or you're stuck worrying about everything around you, When I was younger, y'all, let's just say I'm in my 20s right now, but whenever I was like 16, 17, y'all, I was deep so thinking about what do I want to be. There's so much things that I wanted to be, y'all. I wanted to be, like I say, at one point a fighter, y'all. At one point I wanted to be a rapper. At one point I wanted to, go to the fucking Marines, y'all, and just never come back. We all had, what those desires, had led us to. Eventually, y'all, you stick with something that you truly want to do because remember, your power is all. You are the beacon of light. So what you do, y'all, what you are empowering. So I'll remind y'all, family, it is important if you are younger now, y'all, to focus on your direction. You need direction, man, because that direction is gonna give you, like I say, a boost to take off, y'all. You want to take off like a rocket, y'all. People give up on this YouTube shit, y'all. I knew YouTube was my passion when I knew that everybody can't make it from YouTube. That's what led me to get on this journey, y'all. Not only am I helping people across the world, fight and battle themselves, y'all, by teaching you how to, look at life introspectively. You might live life outside too long, too much, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you want to have a better awareness about it. You want to move smarter, and you just want to, not necessarily feel like you're not making the right decisions based on your soul. Your soul was always with you, y'all. Don't ever be afraid to talk to yourself. It's just you feel so disconnected from yourself because you're trying to connect to the world around you, y'all, when that's not how it works, y'all. That's why it's hard for you to get downloads, because in a world like this, y'all, you're looking for things outside of you, when the universe never intended it to be that way, because you're the one with everything. You have all the tools, and everything that you're looking for resides within you, y'all, because nothing can give or nothing can be given without direction, y'all. You're the direction. Wherever you go, direction follows, y'all, because you're the action taker, right? But I give this to the chosen ones because, I want y'all to be somebody in the long run, and to where you're not, stressing your whole life, not knowing what you want to do, y'all, So that's why I say it is important to cut off all the distractions, man. As I say, we are going into a new year. So, why won't you just focus on your goals, be ambitious with it, and put your mind to better things, y'all. I always say that YouTube is a skill, but it's more so a business, and it takes time. Time reveals, like I say, if you want to say, not necessarily truth, but it reveals, if you want to say, who you are. Because, you know, for myself, y'all, when I first started YouTube, y'all, I didn't get nowhere. You know, I'm gonna tell y'all wholeheartedly, when I was first starting YouTube, y'all, I started YouTube back in, 2020. I started back in 2020, 21, but I was not necessarily talking about what I'm on now, y'all, about bettering your life to see that in your reality. I was most likely playing games. I was on a gaming channel, but I still had that, y'all. I still had that mindset of, wanting to be my own boss, wanted to be someone not of high status to get everything, but to, impact the globe and help the ones that fuck with my videos, y'all, because I'm all about uplifting you, If you're watching me, y'all, I'm not pushing nobody to feel down. You might feel down though if you're living in, a hard truth that you might have to swallow up, but it's never forever, y'all, if you choose to do something about it. So that's what I'm reminding y'all in this video, family. On a hot day, that feels damn near amazing to me, y'all, because I take my time with these videos, y'all. But I'm gonna remind y'all right now that if you want to be, or you are looking into becoming something of your own, well, I'm gonna advise you to get on this YouTube shit, y'all. I will never knock what you are trying to do, but I'm gonna remind you that you want to do something that you can rely only on yourself, y'all. You don't want to have to ask, call, or just worry about what someone has to say about you, y'all. You want to be somebody that's just gonna do the work, y'all, and get the actions and results later. You're not looking for them now. You're just looking for, like I say, bettering the world and pushing your ideas out onto the globe, y'all, because somebody's gonna take it and run with it, y'all. And they're gonna, like I say, push that to others and so forth and so on. And that right there is gonna, like I say, help more people that are fucked up. But this was the video, man. You must have direction in your life, y'all. You must be able to see through anything, whether you feel like you can't achieve it, Everybody who once came before y'all, who you look up to now, was somebody who was growing. They all had that come up. They all came, and brought something different, yes. But that rise is what made it more, like I say, worth the wait, y'all. If you were looking for end results now, y'all, what's something that you really don't desire, y'all, because you're wanting something to show you who you are, y'all. You don't want nothing to define your character, because your character was so powerful that everything came to you because you were the one just putting in the work and staying humble and patient. That's what it really is, y'all. Staying down until everything is to be around, y'all. Remember this. Every YouTuber, every rapper, every just, person that has became successful did not become successful overnight. They weren't even perfect with it either. They tried and they took that risk, y'all. You must be the risk taker in your reality. Say someone's scared to bet around you. Let's just say someone's scared to apply at a job because they're afraid of how they're looked at. Well, how are you ever supposed to, get somewhere in life, y'all? That's what I'm trying to remind y'all always. Transform your life. Life's about transformation. And in this channel, I'll talk about that 100% more than anything in the world, y'all, because you want to transform everything around you, y'all. You want to help your family. I'm pretty sure you do. Everybody wants to help their family if they could. You want to help yourself first, though. You can't help your family. You can't help nothing outside of you. I repeat, you can't help nothing if you are not equipped it. Well, like I say, an abundant life. So that's why I push these videos out to y'all, to make you see with a sharper mind, more prestige and precision along with that tactic, because like I say, y'all, for someone like myself who works, and I never stop working, whether I'm at a job, whether I'm working for myself, whether I'm investing, whether I'm, like I say, creating, a brand of my own, whether I'm marketing my own, I never stop at working, y'all, because my soul is never satisfied being still, y'all. I truly like to put more than what I'm giving in return, y'all. And that's why, I truly am gonna be someone of true success on this YouTube shit. I'm always talking about it, y'all, because I'm speaking it into existence, and I'm pushing and putting the work in. I put so much into this 5 to 9 because one day it's gonna set me free. One day it's gonna show me how much people I've impacted, and how I looked at myself before and after, because it's really no difference, y'all. It's just based upon, like I say, your work ethic, how good you are with skills, and staying consistent, y'all, and being somebody that matters because, you know, not everybody can do this, y'all. Not everybody can do this. There are YouTubers who fucking look up to me, y'all, and they are YouTubers. They tell me never to stop. Push the message out because, you know, you are, you know, speaking some real shit into the youth, to the masses, to anybody who feels like they are lost, right? It's not about, you know, these gold chains, y'all, or it's not about, like I say, these exotic nice cars. It's about your reality. It's about your legacy. You know, your legacy is before any of that bullshit because when your body decays or deteriorates, right, you're gonna be talked about. Not your cars, not your money, not your clothes. Yeah, they gonna say what and who you were, but they're not gonna talk about, like I say, the materials you once possessed or all those amenities you once required. No, I mean, yeah, acquired. No, family. They're gonna talk about who you were, what you did, and how you stood. That's why I remind y'all, family, it is important to focus on your career, focus on your desires, but focus on what it is you love. That's your purpose. My purpose is full-time YouTuber, and this is, like I say, of my reality, y'all, because I truly enjoy making these videos, y'all. Nothing else satisfies my soul more than another soul watching me and taking in a positive gem that maybe, you know, help them see life differently. Maybe help them look at life like you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just save my money, you know, because the money is not what makes me. I make the money anyway. You know, I'm the creator, right? The problem is, if you don't go within, y'all, you're, like I say, looking at everybody else around you, and then you look at yourself, whether you have something that they do or you don't. You probably feel bad because it's not your time yet. God's humbling you. You know, he's trying to show you that, yes, everybody had got it on their own because they worked hard and they never stopped. And whatever they did, whether, you know, who they chose to become. But God's pushing me to tell y'all to, you know, come up with a plan now, especially if you're younger, because y'all don't want to struggle your whole life. You know, the more you do something, the better you become at it. So it's best to start, like I say, becoming hands-on with what you are doing, y'all, because in this video, I talk about nothing's more important than having direction. You know, direction. Yes, I talk about your legacy and how that's important. But if you don't even have a direction, y'all, how can you even start that? You can't, because you don't know where you're going, how you're going to get there, or just, you know, you're probably thinking about the end goal. You want to be present. You want to stay right here. Stay on the soil, you know. Be like the sun, man. Just glow. And your time, like I said, will eventually come to you when you are consistent enough, when you are actually showing that you care about what you are doing, y'all, you know. But for the people who are stayed to watch the end of this video, because I wasn't going to make long videos, you know. I don't want to make long videos, y'all, because I'd rather push out more, you know, content for y'all. Those long form contents, y'all, they don't drain me, y'all, but they take a long time to, you know, upload and edit, y'all. There's so much work that goes beyond the scenes that y'all don't see. But it's not about that, y'all, because I do this for a higher calling, man. I was chose to do this, you know. It feels right to do it, and nobody else ain't doing it, y'all. You see many creators out here, but not everybody's talking about the same thing, because not everybody can give you what the next man is. And that's why when a soul leaves, y'all, no one can ever replace that shit. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. I don't care what you are driving. I don't care where you live. When someone leaves this world and detaches from you, if you ain't detached, y'all, well, nothing hurts worse or more than that, because you know loss, you know. But remember, family, you don't have to take the path of, you know, purpose now if you are not where you want to be. I'm just reminding you that you want to self-reflect, have a sense of clarity before you even look into direction, y'all, because you're not going to know what decision to make based off your mind if you're not thinking right. Think clearly, stay presently, and what you love to do, y'all, show the fucking world, man. I want you to show the world who you are, what you do, and how, who lost you, and how, you know, you gained abundance, attraction, prosperity, financial, you know, freedom, the life you always wanted, y'all. But it's not gonna come because you can't rush the process, y'all. You will just have to live in the journey and just wait, be patient, you know. But this was the video, man. I hope y'all develop direction in your life, so everything can, like I say, be directed to you.